What's up, everybody? Okay, can you hear that? Good. What's up, guys? What's up, Karen? Christian? What else we got in here? Oh, Sarah says she has to go to bed. She's got to take her kids to school. Yvette, what's up? Sorry, I got my camera up here, so I'm used to having it right here, so I might be looking down. I keep forgetting that I got my camera up here now. Alright, let's pop that out. Put this on this side. So while we're waiting, why don't you guys say what your favorite scary movie or ghost movie, paranormal? I'd like to hear, see what you guys say. Copper Horse, what's up? Yeah, this will be different. I'm excited. So while we wait, put a scary movie, one of your guys' favorite movies in. Ooh, The Nun. Yeah, yeah, that's up there. I forget that director's name. But yeah, the Conjuring series is very good. Zanny! Oh, yes, thank you. I forgot yeah, the whole Facebook thing that I started doing has become a big problem. I've been getting a lot of bots sending me friend requests. So the last 2 days, it's just I can't keep up with it all. I'm gonna have to figure something out on that. Oh, Stephen King fan? Nice. Oh, two nuns. Nice. Yeah, Stephen King. Yeah, he's got quite a few. The It. Let's see. I'm going to put her up for just a minute. Because we always got to have somebody missing. So it looks like they increased the reward. Looks like someone put down another 12,000. Let's see. So it was at 12,500. So somebody must have put in another 10,000. So that's awesome. It looks like they got a billboard up too. So that's pretty cool. So let's do this. Pop that out so I can see you guys. So I thought a good starting point with the whole paranormal would be Skinwalker Ranch, since it's got everything. You got UFOs. You lost it? Put a one in the chat if you guys can hear me all right. Ooh. Guys, put a one in the chat if the stream's good. Good? Okay. Alright, awesome. Sweet. So, what's up, Mary? Awesome. Alright, sweet. What's up, Karen? What's up, Kat? So, this is Utah. This is where I was born and raised. What's up, Lady M? And this is the spot of Skinwalker Ranch. And this is where I was born and raised in Salt Lake City, Utah. Right now, I'm down in St. George down here. So it's about like a 5-hour drive. Maybe 6 hours. But from Salt Lake, it's only about a 2-hour drive. Got you into creepypastas? Right on. So yeah, so it's in here in Roosevelt. What's so weird is, so a lot of the activity, and I'll go through the stories and stuff of Skinwalker Ranch, but it was so odd because, like I said, I was born and raised in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I had never heard about it. And a lot of the major activity went on during the mid 90s. I believe the Shermans bought the ranch in 94. And a lot of the activity happened between 94 and 96. And then Bigelow bought it. And then it calmed down for a little bit. And then it apparently the activity ramped up again towards the 2000. But what was so weird is that I, as a kid growing up in Salt Lake, I had never heard of it. I'd never heard it mentioned. Never heard of Skinwalker Ranch. And when I moved to Ohio in 2017, it was so odd because the second I moved to Ohio, as soon as I got out there was a channel that I still follow, and they had made a documentary on it. And I'm like, oh, what's the Skinwalker Ranch? This sounds cool. And then when I learned where it was located, I'm like, what? It's located in Utah? I never heard of this. And then since like 2017, it just, now we got the History Channel covering it. They got a couple of seasons. Let's see, let me put this right here. Yeah, it's got UFO. It's got everything. That's why I thought it'd be a good introduction to this whole paranormal thing. Because, yeah, you got UFOs, you got paranormal, even like poltergeist activity going on in there. Mom's from there, Salt Lake, not Skinwalker Ranch. Nice. Yeah, let's see. Put that away. So, go over a couple pictures of Skinwalker Ranch. So, here's an overview of it. So, here's Skinwalker Ranch, and then you've kind of got this this ridge or bluff that you can kind of overlook the ranch here. And apparently, so it says these are some hot spots on this ranch. It's a big ranch. I forget the acres on it. Yeah, it's got portals and everything. Yeah, we'll go over some stories. So here's what it kind of looks like when you're looking over the ridge on it. Here's an area. Yeah. So here's another picture. This is some of the old buildings, I believe, that were used in the 90s. The ley lines run. Could be, yeah. There's another. I think this might be the same one. This might be a picture of a closer. But yeah, it's got a lot of these old rundown buildings that were used as housing or and whatnot. So here's a bigger picture of the ranch. It's big. Kind of odd that they got these like what looks like UFO circles in them. Let's see. So this was an actual news article. Ranch family terrorized by unknown forces. A local farming family has been reporting mysterious incidents occurring on their farm recently, but many think this is a cry wolf situation. After the disappearance of their 10-year-old boy last week, the boy's father has made calls to the police almost daily, reporting strange incidences such as wolf tracks all over his property. And we'll go more into the stories here. Is this going to be scary? Laugh out loud. We're going to try to. Mike says, I'm from Seattle, Washington. The woods are eerie. Yeah. Nice. What's up, Margaret? So here's a dirt path. So get into some of the stories. So here's a picture of the one of the buildings, what it looks like inside. That's a beautiful picture right there, actually. So let's get to the first. So there's people outside always making a lot of noise. So this is actual wolf. This is I blurred out her face. So one of the first stories. So the Shermans bought the ranch in '94, and one of the first things they noticed about this house. Let's see, is this the first story I got? Okay, here's the first story. Okay. So once they bought the property, I believe it was Terry, his wife, and his son, and I think his grandfather as well. Um, so I know it's the three of them for sure. There might have been a grandfather in there as well, but so when they first bought this property and they went to the house, one of the first things that they noticed is when they went inside, they noticed that all the windows had deadbolts on them. All the doors had like padlocks on them on both sides, as to like try to keep something out or in. And then they noticed that outside the house, no, that's real. This wolf is actually real. Yeah, it's a big boy. So, but and then they noticed on the outside of the house that they had these like big massive chains where they apparently the previous owners had like, like attack dogs that they would chain outside to protect the house. So just immediately when they bought this property, stuff was already acting weird. So here's the first story that they encountered early on. So it says, Terry Sherman and his son saw a wolf almost the size of their car calmly approach them. So they saw a wolf, kind of looked like this, and it had like glowing eyes. And it was real calm, and the massive beast was calm and friendly towards him, thinking it was someone's pet. Terry walked up and he petted it on its head and then tried to shoo it away. The wolf started walking away calmly, but made its way towards the fence where they had their cattle. Then the wolf suddenly bit one of the young cows on the nose and tried to drag it off. And so, of course, now Terry, he's a rancher and he needs his cattle. That's how they make their money. So he immediately gets a gun, or I think he already had a gun on him. And armed with the shotgun, he starts to shoot the wolf. And he continued, even though he's an excellent marksman at close range, as he's shooting this wolf, it's almost like it doesn't even faze it. Like it's almost like it wasn't even getting shot. And so the wolf continues trying to tear this cow, drag it off through the fence. So he continues shooting it. And then finally, after he shoots it one more time, the wolf kind of backs away. And at the same time, Terry had noticed that there was this rotting flesh, rotting smell, foul odor coming off the beast. And then the wolf had turned around and scurried back off into the woods. And so Terry and his son, wanted to investigate. So they follow its tracks, and they're going along, and then all of a sudden the tracks just like disappear, and it's just as if the wolf and everything just vanished. Yeah, good question, Garrett. How big was the car? She says. Yeah. So that was their one of the first encounters they apparently had was with this wolf. So later on in the following days and weeks, let's see, is this the next story? Yeah. So he'd be sitting on his porch, and Terry would notice these strange lights off in the distance. And one night he thought that somebody was trespassing, and it looked like headlights on a car further off on his property. And, he was worried of vandals and stuff like that. So he decided to investigate. And so he started walking. So he was frustrated. Terry looking directly at the lights off in the distance. So he started to charge the lights. But as he got closer, he started noticing, because he thought he was approaching a vehicle. And the first thing he noticed was that there was like no sound. There should have been like a sound of an engine running or something. And he noticed it was just dead quiet. And so he continued walking towards the lights. And as he got closer to these lights, all of a sudden they just they kind of flew up and then just flew off into the sky, and they were gone. And these were apparently like blue So yeah, these were just regular lights that he would come across occasionally on his property. And there's going to be different color orbs and lights that they see that do different things. So then another night, Terry would notice a different kind of strange light that looked more like an orange glowing orb off in the distance in the woods on his ranch. And so he was sitting on his porch and he had his high-powered rifle in his hand that had a scope. And so he had peered through the scope to look at this orange orb that was off in the woods. And the orange orb, he noticed that it looked almost like an oval-shaped portal. And he noticed the more he looked into this orb, that it was almost like as if he was looking into a different world, and he could like see a sky. And as he was doing this, he was then terrified as he saw what looked like cryptid beings crawling out of the portal. And they were completely black, and they'd be crawling out, and then they would scurry off into the woods on his property. And then after these creatures would come out, he noticed what looked like a small aircraft coming out of the portal. And just as the aircraft came out of the portal, it closed, and he couldn't see anything, and it was now pitch black. So Tina Moose says time bandits. Yeah, that would scare me. How much moonshine did he drink? Yeah. So there's that. Yeah, I would run too. So now here's the case of the blue orb, which this one freaked the family out, and all the family members had encountered this one at some point. And this is one that terrified them the most, is this blue orb that they would see. So it says another phenomenon was the case of the blue orb that would show up outside, and whenever the family had seen this blue orb, they would get extremely terrified, because as it would get closer, you would get this really bad case of anxiety, as if the orb itself was emitting off this energy that would cause you to feel this case of being terrified and nervous. And this would show up constantly throughout the years, or throughout the time that they were there. And then it just as it would come, it would vanish, and then the feeling of being normal would come back to them. But they encountered this quite often, and apparently this is something that freaked them out a lot, was this blue orb showing up. Christian says, imagine trying to convince people of these things. Yeah. Well, I would say it worked, because, we'll get to Bigelow, who actually bought the property. And like I said, we'll get to him in just a minute. So, let's see. Where is... Okay, let's... Okay, yeah, this is the one I skipped. So one of the nights, was after they had started seeing these cryptid things coming out of the portal. So at night in the house, the Sherman family would notice that they would see these dark beings or entities that had no facial expression and would walk around their house and sometimes walk up to their windows and put up their hands and peer in. And the Shermans described that they had like no face. So you couldn't see anything. You just see like these hands and this little oval shaped head trying to peer in through the window. And that they would rap on the window. And also they could be heard communicating with each other in a different language that they couldn't understand. And this would happen frequently. So I think this would make sense to us why the previous owners would have had those deadbolts on the windows. But yeah, having something like that walking around outside the house and then looking inside your window would definitely, yeah, no face. I know something about not being able to see what this thing looks like. It just, I can only imagine your imagination going wild. So yeah. They apparently they'd walk around the house and just knock on the windows, communicate, and yeah. So let's see. I got this out of order. I'm sorry. Okay, so then on another night, so like I said, this goes back to the blue orb. So Terry had encountered a blue orb again appearing one night, and he had his dogs, that were I don't know what kind of dogs he had, I forget, but he had these dogs, and they're barking at it, and he thought, you know what, I'm gonna release them and see what they do, and so he releases the dogs, and so they start running after this orb that's in the woods, and they're barking at it. And Terry notices that the orb starts retreating back into the woods. And he's kind of like, oh, wow, I gotta, he's kind of like, yeah, I got a victory, finally something, goes right. And so as the dogs continue chasing this thing, both the orb and the dogs go out of sight into the woods. And then all of a sudden he hears a yelp from his dogs. And so that immediately terrifies Terry. And he goes back into the house and waits till morning. And so in the morning he realizes that the dogs had still not returned the night before. So he goes out to investigate. And when he he's in the woods, and he comes across this open plot here, and he notices 3 burn piles of ashes, and he believes that they were the remains of his dogs, and he said that it looked like, oh my gosh, yeah, I thought I turned off notifications, I apologize, but he said that it looked like that the animals had been vaporized, and that they yeah, so there's just, this is what was left of them, was piles of ash. And then I didn't want to get pictures, but well, maybe I'll see if I can find one that's not too. I know that would be sad if that happened, but because I didn't want to. I wanted to be careful what pictures I show, but they apparently, I don't know if they're real or not, but there's pictures of the cows, because one of the other big things was that there was a lot of cattle mutilations, that just kind of goes hand in hand when UFOs are involved. But one of the biggest things with the cattle when they had come across them is that it looked like their eyes had been removed, but it had been done like surgically, like precise, like not like. Didn't look like an animal just came up and tore off the eye, because none of the flesh was torn or anything. It was just like surgically removed. Now I've seen some of these pictures, and it's creepy. Like it's just hollowed out in a perfect, in a way that's just really odd. What? The man has guns and he sends his dogs? Yeah. Let's see. So, let's see. All right. So, I think right after when he lost his dogs, this would be, because he only had the farm for, I believe, 2 years. And after losing a lot of cattle and a lot of cattle and money, and then of course losing his pets, he had enough. So he put the ranch for sale, and this is Robert Bigelow, and he was in Las Vegas at the time, and he's the founder of NIDS, I'll have to look up the term. I forget the exact terminology for NIDS, but they do research on like the paranormal and stuff. So Bigelow, who was a billionaire out in Las Vegas, purchased the ranch for $200,000, and I believe this was in 96 or 97. This was reportedly a result of having been convinced by the stories of the mutilations that included tales of strange lights and unusual impressions made in the grass and soil told by the family and former ranch owner Terry Sherman. So after he bought it, he hired a team of scientists, and one of the biggest things that he wanted to do is he wanted to make sure the scientists that he hired were like skeptics. So that way he could get a more unbiased result of their findings. And then he had it until 2016. But so the first year that they had started doing research, activity was apparently pretty quiet on the ranch. Oh, yeah, here's the story. So the NID scientists in that first year would go on. So the first year, they would go on to check the water supply, the plants, and even neighbor accounts to see, if there was a different explanation for what the Shermans had experienced. A more natural explanation is if they were hallucinating or if there was something in the water. And so during the first year, it was pretty quiet at the ranch, but that following year, the activity began to ramp up. They started noticing that they found more, because they brought, with them cattle, bull, and stuff to for research purposes. I'll finish the story and then I'll react to what you guys are saying. I'm sorry. So, let's see. So the sightings of, so they started seeing these unexplained creatures that would give off these foul odors. And then, of course, the random lights and orbs became, they started seeing those in the sky again. So, one time, these two scientists on the NIDS team, they set up on the bluff that I kind of showed you, because there's that kind of bluff that overlooks the farm, the ranch. And so up on this bluff, and they got their, little scientific equipment. And one of them had infrared goggles. And so he's looking down at the ranch, and he happens to notice one of these orange orbs that Terry described as being a portal. And so as this guy's looking at this orange orb, he notices that the same thing. Creatures start crawling out of it. And he notices as one's crawling out, it's kind of crawling out towards them. And they're up on a hill. And he notices as it crawls out, it scurries up towards them. And so this kind of like freaks them out. But they're like, they don't, they want to capture what's going on. And so they stay there. And as this thing's kind of running up towards them, it kind of like ends up running past them. And they noticed as it ran past them that there was this strange foul odor. And so yeah, there's that story. Let me read some of your comments here. Maria says, yes, it's scary that they cut out the eyes, parts of the... Yeah, no blood anywhere. Yeah, right. Yeah, I wasn't sure how much I wanted to go into the mutilations just because, I didn't want to get... just because of the platform. But yeah, the mutilations are pretty crazy. I'd say that's probably some of the best evidence, Let's see. Karen says, guess the creature's got to eat. Maria says, aliens are doing all these mutilations. No, I don't think this is an actual picture, no. They did a pretty good job, though. I don't know where this picture came from, to be honest, but that would freak me out if I saw something like that, though. Let's see. So this was an actual news article. So then, did I go through all those normal stories? I did. Okay. So, let's pull up the ranch here. Let me back here. So, let's see. He had it, from 96 to 2016. So, here's some of the, on the skeptic side of stuff, what they say. So, let's see. Where was that? So, Bigelow sold the Skinwalker Ranch for $4.5 million to the Holdings, a shell corporation of unknown origins. After this purchase, all roads leading to the ranch have been blocked, the perimeter secured, guarded by cameras and barbed wire. Yeah, it's completely gated off now. I mean, you can still approach it and everything. But yeah, there's cameras everywhere. And I'm sure if you guys have seen the Ancient Aliens or the History Channel, because they've been on, the History Channel's been on there where they've got the, what is it called? The Secret of the Skinwalker Ranch. Yep. And so one of the things they said is, on the skeptic side, is they said he got an award, this Bigelow guy, he got the award for funding organization that supported the most useless study of supernatural, paranormal, or occult. That sounds pretty kind of harsh. But apparently, I mean, this place had a lot of activity. And I know I've seen a few things as far as UFO related. Not a lot, but I've definitely seen a few things that I couldn't, describe. Move on, yeah. Yeah. A lot of places, like I said, it's been big. Then they had the Strawberry River Inn, which is located by it, and they had a lot of encounters as well. So, let's see. So then I thought I would just go over just one of the biggest and largest sightings of UFOs to kind of jump over a little bit, which to me, I think the Phoenix Lights is probably one of the biggest mass sightings ever when it comes to UFOs. And this happened in, this happened in the 90s, mid-90s? I gotta wait for an ad, so I probably... Oh, Melissa says, describe what I seen. I will. After this, I'll describe what I saw.
Lights. Tomorrow night marks 24 years since a strange and stunning sight. Unidentified lights flying over the valley in a uniform pattern. Thousands of you saw them, and they've been fascinating us ever since. After the 1997 case, there have been dozens of other UFO sightings here and all across the Southwest.
As Team 12's William Pitts shows us, we've seen big bombshell revelations and admissions over the past 18 months or so that some think may eventually lead to answers about the Phoenix Lights.
Bright lights in a V shape, maybe a massive ship miles wide, right over Phoenix. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people saw them on March 13th, 1997.
Look at that. There's another one.
They're lined up in a pattern.
24 years later,
I got 4 of them.
we still don't know what the Phoenix Lights were.
Major sighting here.
But now a lot more people are taking them and other unidentified flying objects more seriously. Dr. Lynn Kitai watched the Phoenix Lights arrive. She's one of the few people with photographs of them, and for years she stayed quiet, afraid of being branded crazy.
Now that the military and the government have actually come forward to say, yes, we are studying them. The Pentagon has been studying them.
In the last year and a half, there have been some massive bombshells in the UFO community. For starters, the U.S. government says they're real, and they were researching them.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the SA.
Like these videos from the U.S. Navy. After they were leaked, the U.S. military confirmed they were real.
One thing, apologize.
This is not a joke. This is real. Something. Even though I don't know what they are, I just want to know who they are, who's driving these.
Okay, so I got to commentate over this or I'm just stealing this clip. But I think it's crazy, especially that the government, now that we know that they admit to all these sightings, and then we've learned that all these new videos have came out, especially this isn't like YouTube where I can skip to it, but some of these newer ones were actual pilots, or we got witnesses that credible witnesses.
Afraid of being branded crazy.
Let me pull up the chat here. But yeah, the Phoenix Lights, for those, I'm sure most of you guys have seen that, but for those who haven't, this was probably one of the biggest mass sightings of lights. And then of course when it comes to the UFO, in that particular incident, they claimed that it was flares, that they shot flares out, but flares will drop, and they leave kind of like a trail. And I'm no expert, but it's this is just so wild with the Phoenix Lights. Maria says, I live in New York City, and there are never UFOs here. Why are they always in the wilderness? Yeah. Lady M says, those lights or any lights are probably space junk. Could be. Could be. Zanny says, I saw those exact lights over the ocean at 10 p.m. a year ago. Everyone laughed at me and nothing was ever published. Yeah. I know I've seen lights before, kind of like this, but not like massive lights, but like one or two. And it is weird. And it's something you can't really describe. Flares, maybe they were alien flares. Yeah. Oh, what's up, Sleuth? We're just doing a paranormal today. Paranormal and UFO. I thought I'd try something different. What's up, Jody? So, but yeah, the UFO that are the Phoenix Lights. That's some of the most convincing, most documented evidence we've got. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys got any places in the chat that are like the Skinwalker Ranch? That you guys have maybe in your hometown? Yeah, next time I do the stream, I'm gonna definitely set up some I'm gonna try Zoom and then see if we can get a couple people on each time, and get some stories. That way we can share some of your guys' encounters, because you guys seen my my encounter, and I'll play a little bit of it, because my earliest as far as ghost was my earliest childhood memory that I have. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I was 3 years old. I'm trying to read the chat at the same time. The Brown Mountain Lights in North Carolina. Okay. Wolf Creek Inn in Oregon. Nice. So I'm not sure how many of you have seen this. I know probably a few of you have. Let's see, where is it? Where are you? Okay, here it is. Forest Lawn Cemetery. Some weird lights. Yeah, see, in Utah, we have the Salt Flats. And, you know, this is because, you know, we got Area 51 that's in Nevada. And they, you know, they kind of use that salt flat dry lake beds and stuff. And then apparently Utah has the Area 52, which I'll have to do some more research and maybe bring that up next time. But so this is my first encounter, and my literally the earliest childhood memory that I have. What's up, Mob Crew? I'm Chris. The channel. First and oldest memory I have as a child was when I was 3 years old. I am an only child, so growing up, it was me, my father, and my... So I'll just narrate it while I just play the pictures. But, so we lived in this little townhouse apartment, and it had 2 floors, and all the bedrooms were upstairs. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I was 3, maybe 4 years old, but I'm pretty sure I was 3 years old. And just the memory starts off, I remember going up the stairs, and my mom was downstairs, and my dad was supposed to be at work, or was at work. And for some reason, I went into their bedroom, and so I remember for some reason, I decided to look under their bed, and there wasn't much under the bed except for some like random boxes and stuff. And I kind of started looking past the boxes, and I started noticing this like black figure on the other side of the bed kind of like move, almost like it was on its back, and then it kind of like rolled over, and it had its arm out, and it just waved. And I just see this black figure, you know, just an outline. And it looks like a human body, as if someone just turned on their side and started waving. And it looked like it had a hat on. And like I said, I'll never forget. It's literally my earliest memory I have as a child. And it's probably one of the most vivid memories I have. And I just remember it waving. And I'm just kind of looking at it like, okay. And then it's like it didn't say anything to me, and it just kind of just sat there and waving. And then the terror hit me, and I freaked out, and so I jumped up, and then I remember going back downstairs and telling my mom what I had seen. And then I don't remember much of the conversation. I mean, it's pretty much it, but I know I talked to my mom about it many, many times after, but because I thought it was my... Oh, thank you, Lady M. Let me finish it, and then I'll say thank you. But I thought it was my dad or somebody playing a game, because that's how real. Like, I swear, it's like, that's how real. And, so yeah, I remember it always talking to my mom about it, because I'm like, are you sure Dad wasn't under there, and he was, like, sick or something? But now thinking about it, my dad would never do something like my dad would be under the bed, you know, for whatever reason. He wasn't that kind of person, you know. And so, you know, my mom said he was at work. And then I know some people mentioned in the chat or in the comments after this video saying, well, maybe it could have been like my mom's lover, which is actually kind of funny. But I know it's that. Because, I mean, I was home all day, and then my dad would have came home, and I think if that was a lover, I think he would have been caught. But... Oh, thank you so much, Lady M. Oh, you're so amazing. Thank you so much. Marie says, wow, Chris, it scared you to death and you still remember this. Yeah, like I said, this is literally the earliest memory I have. It's so crazy. Shadow people. Cass says, the black-eyed children are terrifying. Ooh, to look that up. Documentary on the Canuck chase. Okay. Yeah, because there's a lot of places in different countries that I would definitely like to check out and look up. So, yes, Misbehave, is this where you got your channel name? It is. So, of course, after this happened, I got freaked out and I always thought something would be under my bed. And it was so bad that I just started stuffing stuff under my bed. Go back down. So yeah, I would stuff stuff like this under my bed, cram it all under there. My parents hated it because they thought I was like, you know, like when you tell your kids to clean your room. Oh, hey, will you, you know, and the kids like start, you know, putting stuff under the rug or, you know, throw stuff in the closet. So my parents thought this is what I was doing. But yeah, I would stuff everything I could under the bed. But yes, and even with the stuff under my bed, if I was getting off the bed, like I'd always kind of like look down and then I'd kind of like jump off the bed. And then if I was like going to bed, I'd almost like jump on my bed. And then that was like that for years. So yes, that is where I get my channel name because I struggled with that for many years. Being too close with my feet close to the bed. So yeah, I don't remember that night or anything, but I just remember that specific incident. Like I said, I could picture it. Just, but anywho, but yeah, I would love, like I said, next time I'm still working on the Zooms, but it would be fun to hear your guys' stories because you know when I did this video, you know, you guys had posted some of your stories in the comments. I thought that was a lot of fun to read those stories. So anywho, yeah, so like I said, this was just a little show. Let's go over, like I said, just go over Skinwalker Ranch. I wasn't sure how long that was going to take. Sometimes I think I have sometimes I think I got a lot of material and then we go through it so fast. No, my cat is not with me because when I moved, it was such a long road trip. My cat's never been in a car like that. And so he would have done pretty good. So, but I'm going to go get him in the springtime, summer. Steven says, I have many shadow people in my home. I've had much paranormal things. I started taking pics and photos of what I have seen for a long time now. Rosemary Spirit. Ooh. Interesting. So who owns the ranch now? Let's see. So it's Brandon Fogel. And there's a guy that you see. I don't know if it's actual Brandon Fogel, but you always see him on the History Channel. He's kind of like the guy that runs everything. Let's see. Get a picture of him. So here's the new team. Excuse me. Here's the new team that's here. And see if this got the owner. Yeah, here's the owner here. Oops. Oh, cancel. No. Where'd you go? Oh. Why does it want to open like that? Okay. Weird. But yeah, so here's the guy that you see a lot. I don't know if this is Brandon Fogel or not. I have not watched the show for a while. But here's all the team that's on there. I know one of these guys had experienced something pretty wild happen to him physically. So I think this is the security guard here. I think this is the guy. He had some like thing happened to him where his like scalp was separating from his I don't know, something odd that happened in his skull, and he actually like poofed up, and he had to have like major surgery, and he thinks it's from being on this location because one of the things about Skinwalker Ranch they've noticed is that the radiation levels are pretty, I wouldn't say high, but they're at an abnormal level. That's one thing they always kind of go over a lot in these in this show. But so yeah, let's see who's missing here. I need to pull up this full thing here. What is going on? There it is. So looks like we got let's pull her up just so So 17-year-old Emily disappeared from Asheville, North Carolina on December 21st. So that was just a couple weeks ago. 20 pounds. She may travel to Gastonia. Sorry, guys. Gastonia, North Carolina. So we'll feature her at the end here. Anything else about her? So that's Emmy Garcia. Got a couple of new missing people. Oh, they did find there's Andrea. I featured her the other day. This is Annalise. Left her home at 8 p.m. She's missing in Philadelphia. Age 13. Wow, she looks a little older than 13. But they did find Lisa. What was her last name? That I featured about 4 days ago. So that was nice to hear that they had found her. So anyway, this I've been waiting to look on something about this. So I think we all remember this. Just kind of before I end it, we'll switch over. But it looks like they have a ballistics report back on this gun that they found in Fort De Soto. And he said he was going to post his findings. Let's jump over to him real quick, see if he posted anything about it. Oh, it's a recording. Oh, it's 50. Is that for 53 minutes?
Red and white twine, and it was weighted down.
Do you guys want to hear about the ballistics a little bit? I haven't heard this. Put one in the chat if you guys want to hear the ballistics. I know, I said I kind of went through all my paranormal stuff so fast. Next time, should we hear just a little bit, just see if they say anything about it?
So obviously that's suspect, right? You're going to see a gun like that and hear that story. You're going to be like, well, somebody's hiding a crime here. That was where my mind went right away. Mine didn't jump to the laundry case by any stretch of the imagination, because I just knew how crazy the laundry case had been getting and how many people were trying to tie certain elements together, and it was just super far-fetched. Could it have been a possibility? Sure, anything's possible. But at the time, we wanted to see the details of this gun. So I reached out to the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office right away and said, hey, how can we track this gun moving forward? And one of the officers reached back, or the PIOs reached back and said, we're gonna start an investigation on it. We're gonna test ballistics. It's going into evidence. It's gonna go through the full process, and then when the report is done, we're gonna send it back to you. So every week I would check in with him. Any updates, and no, that would never happen. Like he'd say, another week, and police work is slow. So obviously it took me like a month and a half to get anywhere with what the investigation was. But then finally we got a report, and thanks to my buddy Matt on the desk, he reached out and finally kind of pushed them to get this report sent over. And it was a PDF, and it was the full case report along with ballistics results and everything else. So I just finished that, and I just posted it to my Twitter profile in 5 parts, so you can read it for yourself. I just took out the juicy parts, in the thread and from the report. The report itself is, I don't know, 15 pages long or so, but what I put on Twitter is the most detail. So let's just go over it real quick. Just so you know the backstory, and then hopefully we can put this to rest, because a lot of people, again, like I said, are trying to make the connection, and there's really not a connection to be made as far as I'm concerned. So October 23rd, Chris Sacco was the guy. He reeled in the gun. There was a Publix bag tied with red and white twine. Now, initially, police were told from Chris that it was tied down with a rock, okay, which makes it sound criminal to me, because they're trying to hide something. Not the fisherman, but whoever threw it there. Turns out the gun was an Imperial Metal Production .22 caliber revolver, Model 7. Okay, so that's what they determined the gun to be. I've never heard of that specific gun, but a .22, obviously, a .22 revolver is very common. So here is what's really strange. It wasn't a rock that the gun was tied to. It was a piece of uncooked meat. So that right away was super strange to me. So then I thought, well, are they trying to catch a certain type of fish? Tara, would that indicate like they're trying to fish for something specific, and maybe just
the meat, shark and whatnot, you use fresh meat, but how fresh was that meat still in the salt water? Because in salt water things obviously disintegrate and get eaten away, so I can't imagine it was that fresh, right?
But like think of if this was like someone who didn't have proper fishing gear, and they used the twine to throw the gun out there to balance off the bottom with the piece of meat to dangle.
And the gun
up.
might not be functioning anymore, so it might have been
right.
Like
they might have just used it as a weight, and so they threw the meat out there to attract a big fish to try to like catch something big.
Tarpon. I mean, you can use that for a lot of things.
So that really was interesting.
Gators.
Yeah, if you're trying to hide a gun, I don't think you're looking for meat to try to hide it. You're looking for a rock.
No, that sounds about as idiotic as it comes.
Right. So check that first piece out. 2 of 5 right there. That's the narrative from the police report. Okay. And then we go to 3 of 5. The gun was requested to be entered into NIBIN, which is a national database of digital images of spent bullets and cartridge cases. Okay. So they'll take a look at these spent cases and bullets, and they'll take pictures and whatnot, and then they'll enter it into this ATF database where they can keep it as an archive for, if they want to try to compare it to crime scenes or any other criminal cases.
That's weird.
That sort of thing, as far as I understand it. So that was interesting. They requested it. Now, it doesn't mean it was automatically entered. They just requested to put it in there. But they tracked down the gun, believe it or not, to the last sale to a dealer, which was 1969. So obviously a lot of you said, this gun looks old, blah, blah, blah. You bet it is.
Ding, ding, ding. Buy a Powerball ticket.
Yep.
You're right.
February
It is old.
Yep. So that was interesting. We actually had a date on that. I thought that was very cool. And
no wonder, because I was trying to look up like what kind of gun that was, and that was so frustrating. I looked at so many different guns to try to match up like the model and everything. And even people in the comments and stuff were helping me. And it's like every time someone would say something, it would be close, but there's always just something off on it. But I've never heard someone using that as like bait or almost like a weight. Fishing weight. Yeah. That is so odd. Yeah, Imperial. Yeah, Imperial. Because I don't use guns, so I'm not heard of Imperial, but not as a brand of a weapon. So I'm not going to go through all that, but That's interesting because, you know, I know, you know, even I've done a video on that because it was just kind of odd that, you know, they found that gun in Fort DeSoto. And then, especially with it being on a public bag, which apparently Laundry had, believe, yeah, Brian had worked for at one point. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, as a weight, that's odd. And then there was one more thing with the laundry. All of a sudden, the laundry stuff's coming out again. And let me go full page again here. Book. Where was it? It's kind of older. What was that? So apparently the parents are trying to get the notebook. I'm trying to find that. Is that? Oh, here it is. So the Laundry parents are trying to take possession of his notebook that is in FBI custody. Their attorney, Steve Berlino, tells me this is part of a formal proceeding to administer Brian's estate. So I know I haven't really gone over that on my channel just because a lot of people have wanted me to move on. But so they've been, parents have been trying to collect his estates and whatnot. And I guess this is kind of common practice just when a child has passed away anyway. But I know a lot of people would like to know what would be written, what was written in that notebook. But so yeah, I think that we'll probably do it, guys. I thought I had I mean, we hit an hour, but I thought I had a little more material, but I definitely think next time we'll have, if you guys want to give out my email and stuff, and we can have some people email me and have you guys on my show, do like a Zoom meeting, or I'll have to see which is easy, which one will work out better, doing a phone call or Zoom meeting, one or the other. And then at least on the next Paranormal Tuesday, we'll I'd love to hear your guys' stories since you guys have heard mine. So, but yeah, I think that'll do it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I wasn't sure how this would go, but I think this went out great. And there's a lot of material. I thought I had a lot more, but I think this is a great induction into that kind of stuff anyway with the Skinwalker Ranch. And I'd like to go check it out because obviously I'm in Utah. It'd be cool to get some pictures and stuff. So, but all right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way out. Thank you guys. Thank you, mods. Thank you, Sleuth Mom. I hope your channel's going up there. I'm sure it will. Keep doing what you're doing, Sleuth. You should have no problem. And definitely would love to collab with you. I like to help out as much as I can. Yeah, thank you, Kat, for joining. Thank you, Tina Moose, LaDon. Oh, you're in Utah. That's right. Right on. If anybody of you guys have Facebooked me recently, I apologize. My Facebook is under attack right now of bots. So, yeah, that would be awesome, Sleuth. So I've got to get the Facebook page under control. I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, it's a nightmare. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Karen Lee, as always. Thank you, Lady M, for your donation. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you, Harriet, for tuning in. Like I said, I've got part 2 coming. Yeah, for sure. Yep, I got your email, so definitely. Zanny, thank you so much. Sorry I didn't give you a heads up. But I will email you. Thank you so much. Inez will attack. I was 5 times. Yeah, Facebook. I don't know. Now I remember why I hate Facebook. Oh my goodness. All right. Guys, thank you guys so much. I love you guys.